everybody, welcome to the inaugural episode of Why We Love Horror Television. I'm JWMaher. That's Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks, and I forgot that's my wife, Fiorella Maher. How are you guys doing over there?
Yeah, we're just a couple of couples who love some television, and Dexter is back once again for its third iteration of a series here with Dexter's Origin or Original Sin.
It really is like they say. Your life flashes before your eyes. In the beginning, there was blood. And a code I learned from my father.
The code is to make sure you are different from the people that you kill.
It was simple. Kill the bad guys who escape justice. And don't get caught myself.
If anyone knows how powerful urges can be, it's me.
Trust me, you stay the course, you'll be fine.
Well, Dex, homicide looks good on you.
Couldn't agree more.
Detective Batista.
Where's my desk?
Photograph the entire scene. Spatter matters.
It's starting to look like a serial killer art project up in here.
So I got myself a job.
Welcome to Miami Metro. The first day of the rest of your life.
Hopefully you're not a chip off the old block.
One that brought the blood to me. While honing my skills with help from the people around me.
You gotta blend in. One wrong move, you ruin your life, your sister's, mine.
This is who I am. Who I need to be.
Learning my code was just the beginning. Bringing it to life for the first time is a whole new story.
Dexter Original Sin.
And that is Dexter Original Sin complete with commercials. Fiorella, why don't you go first? Tell us all about your love for Dexter and how much you know about Dexter and your experience with Dexter.
Okay, so I loved this show. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the second, the Dexter.
We didn't watch New Blood.
We didn't watch New Blood, so I started watching that today. But the first episode of this one, I was really excited to hear Michael C. Hall as the narrator. I didn't realize that he was going to do that, so super excited about that. I don't know if it was just me, but Masuka actually creeped me out a lot more than Dexter. So his line about 9 Inch Nail thing, it cracks me up and creeped me out all at the same time. I love the music. I love the throwbacks of like the 90s and things like that personally. But yeah.
Well, I was more saying like, obviously we watched the entirety of the first run of the show. I've read all 7 books. I had my nitpicks about the series versus the books, obviously. And I liked this too, and I am going to go back and watch New Blood. We're doing that too to catch up, so don't hate on us. I like most of the casting. I'll get into that in a second. What's your guys' Dexter experience to date?
Go ahead, Abs.
So I obviously have watched the whole original series. I rewatched the series up until I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd season. I forget why I stopped. I haven't seen the reboot or sequel or whatever, the
Alaska movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. Aaron kind of told me about it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to be disappointed again. And they kind of show the ending to it, I guess, at the beginning of this episode. So I feel like I don't really need to watch it. But yeah, I really love the show a lot. I love it mainly up until was it season 4 or 5? Season 5. I'm definitely on the side of most people where it's a very disappointing ending, which is kind of probably the reason why I just kind of stopped. And I'm like, I just don't want to keep going. But yeah, no, I really do enjoy the season or the first 5 seasons and everything that they did there.
Yeah, and I'll say it right now. I'm the biggest Dexter fan of the 4 of us on here. And I did watch the New Blood series. That's my proof right there. No.
Have you read all 7 books, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't believe in reading for by choice. So no thank you. But I'll check out the Spark Notes of those. But with the show, I firmly believe if Dexter would have been 4 seasons and the 4th season would have been the series finale, be one of the best shows of all time to this day. And we'd all be talking, oh, what if it came back? But I'm glad it's back selfishly, because as long as there's Dexter series, I'll watch them. New Blood was not good. I watched the whole thing. And now it was so bad that it caused us to get the original sins here, because it literally starts with a retcon. That is how the show ends, with Dexter's son shooting Dexter, but now Dexter's going to survive and have a flashback, life flashing before his moments. But I was hesitantly optimistic about this going in, I'll be honest, because New Blood was not good. It was really bad. I watched it because it's Dexter and only because it's Dexter. And with this, I will welcome where it's going, because I know that we're eventually going to a new series in the summer called Dexter Resurrection, which is going to take place after New Blood. So, I think this movie, it took a cheap this show, which took kind of a cheap route by being like, your life is flashing before your eyes. So now everything's going to be a little different, except for every single specific detail of your life, I guess, will be right. But the way they look, the way they sound, I guess will all be a little different, because that's what happens when your life is flashing before your eyes. So it's the
that's a good way to explain away the things I don't like. But keep going.
No, yeah, that's basically all I got to say to kind of start out here. Like Fiorella was saying, I do think this show captures the vibe of the original show perfectly. The music, the look. Yes, it's a flashback, so it's kind of cheating. But there's plenty of shows that have cheated before that I think don't quite pull it off as well as this one. I feel like everybody is doing really good embodiments, not impressions necessarily. Masuka kind of was an impression. The rest of them, though, felt like embodiments as opposed to trying to be impressions with I think that Patrick Gibson's really good. And we'll get into all that in a minute. But I'm optimistic.
I would say casting wise, all of the cops, the guy playing Masuka, the guy playing Angel, Christina Milian is
the guy playing Angel is literally
it looks like him. It looks like a young David Zan. So everything, all those guys, and the guy playing Masuka is nailing it, to be honest. It is like a parody, but he's nailing it. You imagine the horn dog Masuka is in the original series, him younger.
1991 Masuka would be.
1991 Masuka has to be this out of control.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
the giggles over the top though. I feel like he does that a little.
He's got youthful energy.
In the words of Mills Lane, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Swapping out James Remar for Christian Slater is kind of like an upgrade, but I miss James Remar. I gotta say, I miss him as Harry, but I guess he's just
can't have one though. You can't bring one back. And then if we're just touching on the cast, I think that Deb, played by whoever that is, she's amazing. I've never seen this girl before.
Her voice is just
her personality. She looks nothing like Jennifer.
Yeah, that's my only nitpick is I don't believe she
acts just like Deb. Yeah. She acts exactly like her.
But because of that, because of how she acts and how she sounds so much like her, because I think actually her voice sounds a lot like her as well. I was like, oh my gosh. I think there are moments that there were glimpses that I'm like, I could buy her looking like the original actress. Yeah. I'm like, I could buy her being the young version of it. When she was playing volleyball and a few scenes, I was like, she just embodied it so well, I feel like. And like you said, it wasn't what was it? A reaction.
She was being a drunken whore. She was nailing Deb Morgan. Exactly.
It wasn't like that Saturday Night Live movie that came out where it's oh, that's Chevy Chase. That's Dan Aykroyd. Sure sounds like them. Doesn't really act or look like them, but that's what they said. They said those stuff. So
the main event, getting Tom Holland's understudy to play Dexter was a good move too. I appreciate that. He was good. I like him. I think he's hitting all the right notes as well.
Yeah.
But we can move on to the actual plot. Yeah. There's some setup. Obviously, we get the flashback to the end of New Blood, which is retcon, like you said. We get kind of Dexter's graduating pre-med. And then we kind of go into the main story, which we actually had in the original series. we did touch on like the Angel of Death who was killing Harry as one of his first kills in Dexter. And it's also covered in the book, but the first book, Darkly Dreaming Dexter. But then we actually get the full story this time. What did you guys think of that?
Yeah, no, I liked being able to see that aspect. I mean, this whole show, I like being able to see like the beginning and kind of how everything ended up the way that it did, how he did his first kill and all of that. I know in the original show there were also a lot of flashbacks, so it also kind of felt like they were sort of doing that, but just now it's a whole show kind of thing. But I liked that being the whole focus of the first episode. I liked seeing all of that and then all of the other things that are going on in the episode as well.
What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Oh, fine, Aaron, you go first.
No. I didn't mean to. But no, I do agree. I think it was a really smart route to take things. You can tell that I believe the original showrunner is back. I'm blanking on his name, Clyde something. But I know that the original showrunner is back, and he left, I believe, Clyde Phillips. Yeah, and you can tell when this guy is working on Dexter and when he's not. There's just a certain element there that. Like Dexter authenticity that was back here that you'll see as you watch New Blood. It's just not there in New Blood. It just isn't. It gets more and more distracting as it goes on. And but here, like through the first episode, like I think it really works. This show is not going to be the prequel series that if you've never heard of Dexter, you're not putting on Dexter Original Sin and learning about it, and it's getting you into the show. There's going to be so much. This is made for fans. It's made by fans. I feel like all the actors in the show are fans of this show as well. Like we were just before now watching an interview with Patrick Gibson and Molly Brown, I believe is her name. Mm-hmm. And like Patrick Gibson was like, oh, yeah, I'm really excited to play Dexter. But then Molly Brown's like, I'm like mortified to play the Deborah Morgan. Like she is a god to me. And like that really pays off here with this is like not a deep cut for a Dexter fan with the Angel of Death. It's, pretty, but I think it's a sign of where we're going to go with how deep into the lore of kind of some mentions I think we'll get as we go, because this won't be last.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I did get so today I did watch 2 episodes of the other show, the last one, and I totally understand what you're saying. So I didn't know who was involved with the making of it or whatnot, but watching the original Sin, I did feel like it was a lot more. I felt like it was more in the reality of Dexter. Like I got that feel a lot more. I bought into these new actors being those characters. So I totally agree with that. I'm excited. I hope they don't, I hope it keeps this vibe going on. I do love that they touched that his first kill and how the whole dynamic of him and Harry, how Harry was, gave him permission, and it's all about family. I loved the way that tied everything up in the beginning.
And then you're just going to see it that decision haunt and kill basically Harry over the series, because it's just it's the original Sin. It really is a good title.
Yeah.
And I would say we also get some bonus stuff because we get new characters. We get Patrick Dempsey as the chief. We get Sarah Michelle Gellar as the head of the forensic unit. These are characters that don't exist anywhere in the Dexterverse and were created just for the show. And they got names, and I'm excited because they look like decent characters. I'm interested to see where
they're created to be murdered. They're so dead. Both these people.
I was about to say, I'm they have to die, right? They have to die. They don't exist anywhere in the later in the actual season. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
In a morbid way. And I do think the one thing that sets apart the good seasons of Dexter and this versus the bad seasons of Dexter, it's the quality of Michael C. Hall's internal monologues. When they hit, the show hits. Yeah. So when they're written well, the show is good.
Yeah, I say this about the monologue thing. It's one of my biggest hangups so far is that they had both characters monologue at different times in this episode, right? Or am I imagining this?
I cannot deny that.
I'm pretty sure at times,
but maybe I'm wrong.
I think at times they go into the present with Patrick Gibson also monologuing. If I'm imagining that, then I will amend that in the next episode. But yeah, I think having Michael C. Hall is just completely necessary for the show. You can't have
1,000%. So I'll go first. I am cautiously optimistic about it. I do think the nostalgia hits, so that's important. That's bonus points. I think most of the characters hit, but again, I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think it could have been better. I miss James Remar. I don't like the casting for Deb, but she's a great actress, so whatever. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, good for you.
Abby, what'd you think?
So I'm gonna stay like in the middle for this episode. I think it was like an okay start, but I'm just I'm also like cautious about it. I agree with you on Deb. I probably liked her the least, actually. I didn't think she was that great, honestly. But I do think the main guy playing Dexter, I think he got the mannerisms down. I think pretty much everybody else really embodied the characters that we know, and I like the addition of the new characters. I'm gonna stay in the middle though, and I'm gonna give this like a 3.
All right.
Yeah, well, I did like Deb's character, but that's okay. We all have a right to our opinions. But yeah, I thought this was a great time. I want to believe there is not an episode from New Blood that would get above a 2 for me. And this getting a 4 off the bat is really exciting for me. I am aware that it will probably going to go down from here. But, at the same point, I think that I'm going to believe in Clyde Phillips here. I believe he has a plan for how he's going to get to Dexter Resurrection in the summer. And it's not just that the Dark Passenger is money. It's got to be more than that. Got to believe they got a plan here. And I like where we're heading with it. It was great to see the opening, great to hear the musical like little cues, all those things that, again, you'll watch New Blood and you'll see none of that is there.
The new opening is also great. I'll say that. Fiorella, out of 5, would you rate it?
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Aaron, because I thought I was going to be the only one sticking up for Deb. I really like her. I like
Team Deb and against Team non-Deb here.
Yeah, that's how it is.
So the majority of the cast, I think I am very optimistic about it. Having said that, though, I will rate it a 3.5, just because I feel like that's just the safest. That's how I feel right now. But I am looking forward to seeing it, how it's going to evolve and what we're going to see.
All right. That'll do it. Next week, we'll be back and we'll review episode 2. This episode was called And in the Beginning. Next week's episode is called Kid in a Candy Store. Oh. And they're actually releasing promos for that. So I'll have the promo before next episode, too. So it'll be much more professional next week on Why We Love Horror TV. But if you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Go to our Letterboxd. It's not Fiorella. She doesn't have one. Maybe someday she'll have one. You can find her on every other social media if you look hard enough. But like I remember, Mondays versus we're dropping this on Wednesday. So Why We Love Horror TV will drop on Wednesdays. The episode of Dexter the week prior. Actually, that might not be true. This is going to drop this Wednesday, but this Sunday will be your second episode, and every Sunday after that. See, Aaron is nodding voraciously. Yeah. This is a Sunday show. This is the first weekend show on this channel. Thursdays, Why We Love Horror. Fridays, Why We Love Horror Trivia. You know the ropes. But until next time, I am John Maher, and that's Abby Brooks. That's Abby Brooks. This is my wife, Fiorella Maher. And that's that. We'll see everybody next time on Why We Love Horror TV.